Hey you guys, it is Monday, January 3rd. I am Beth Brutati, and you are here on Your Glam Squad. Your Glam Squad is going to be kicking off something called Weight Loss Resolution 2011. And I cannot say it, but this is Mimi's baby. This is just something that she is really excited about, and all of us girls are really excited to be doing it with her. But I'm going to let Mimi kind of describe it more in detail because I feel like she'll do a much better job of it than I will, and it is her baby, so I don't want to steal her thunder on it at all. But what we're going to do in preparation for kicking this off next week on the 10th is we are all going to talk this week about kind of our backstories with our weights and our health and what we want from this year. That way when we kick off our challenge next week, we kind of already have a starting point. My weight story has been kind of an interesting one. When I was younger, I was always kind of thick. I was never really, I guess you could say chubby, but I wasn't ever really like fat or anything. And I kind of get it from my mom, and I know it's debatable whether or not weight is hereditary or nurture versus nature, basically. Is it something that you are born with, or is it the way that you're being raised? And it could go either way, because my mom was chubby as a young woman, and then after she had me, she kind of lost all of her weight. It was kind of weird, but she also passed her eating habits onto us kids. So on the flip side, it also goes to, okay, well, maybe it has nothing to do with the fact that mom was chubby, but that because mom ate a certain way, we learned to eat a certain way. So it's up for debate, and that is kind of a big debate that people go back and forth on, and not really something I want to get into, so you can take whatever side that you want to be on that argument and move forward with it. My weight was never really a problem until I stopped playing softball. From there, my weight ballooned. I don't know, I guess I never really realized how much softball kept me in weight, or in shape, because it was one of those things that we did practice for it year-round. You know, my dad was really big on us girls playing softball, and it was a big deal to him, and I guess we probably practiced year-round, and I just don't ever really realize it, and didn't really think about it when I was a kid. So I got really heavy after that, and stayed heavy pretty much up through my sophomore year of high school. And, you know, I was really, really unhappy. It's really hard to be a chubby and weird kid when you're in high school, you know. It's just, high school is hard as it is. And I'm not going to say, oh, you know, high school was the worst time of my life. It's the worst thing I've ever been through. I mean, it's nothing like that. Like, at the time, it seems like the end of the world because you're, you know, 14, 15, 16. It does seem like the end of the world. Like, you have no perspective of what, you know, the rest of your life is. So, I mean, and I didn't have the easiest childhood, you know, that's other stories, but, high school did seem pretty rough. Sometimes, you know, I had to stop back and put it in perspective and kind of like, okay, it's just high school, it ends in a couple of years. But, it is hard in high school to be, you know, not even just the fat kid, but the weird kid. I was very, very weird. And I have a weird family, you know, so it wasn't just my own problems, it was also kind of the legacy I stepped into, you know? And so, like, all of this just kind of accumulated to this awful head by sophomore year, because I started doing worse in my studies, because, you know, I was so upset about the fact that I was the weird kid, and the fat kid, and blah, 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 and, you know, it's a story that a lot of people have. I'm not gonna say that, like, I have the worst high school experience, or anything like that, you know? I mean, it evolves, but, you know, at the time it seems like the end of the world, and it's so terrible, and blah, blah, blah. And then you get older and you realize it was nothing. But sophomore year of high school, my parents moved. They had a lot of issues going on with them, and so they moved us to a different house. By that point, both my sisters were moving out, and it was just me and my parents, and they moved me just outside of the school district I had been in since kindergarten. So I'm a sophomore in high school, entering into this new school, and it's a really small school, which ended up working in my favor. I thought it would definitely, like, kind of single me out as the weird new girl, and it actually made me really, really popular, because they had high dropout rates, and just it was just a bad, small town, and, you know, I come from this really good high school to this school where we're reading books I had read in the 6th grade, because I had always been in advanced English and stuff. It was a very, very big transition, and it motivated me to make changes in my life. I don't know if it was necessarily the most healthy changes. I don't think it was ever an eating disorder. I would never say I have an eating disorder because I think it's really rude to self-diagnose yourself as having an eating disorder, especially because there are so many people out there who are sick, and it is a sickness. You know, it's something that you need, you know, proper care to get rid of and to feel better about yourself. And I just feel like it's really, really rude when someone purposefully doesn't eat and then sits there and says, oh, I have an eating disorder. Like, no, if you choose to not eat, that's entirely different than not being able to eat because you hate yourself for doing it. You know, like, it's very, very different, and I just think it's incredibly rude for anyone who doesn't have an eating disorder to cry and whine and say that they do. On the flip side, if you do have an eating disorder, you do need to cry and whine and get help. You know, you're not crying, you're reaching out for help. You know, it's not a matter of drawing attention to yourself, it's a matter of getting better. And I encourage anyone who needs to reach out for help to do so. You know, if you aren't comfortable going to your parents, go to someone else that you trust. If you don't have anyone that you trust, or maybe it's something you're ashamed of or embarrassed of, you know, go to an unsolicited third party, go to a school counselor, go to someone that you can make that reach out to without it being too much for you. You know, you need to do something. You can't let it control you forever. Like, you will die. Like, it's not a matter of, oh, I'm okay right now, I can deal with it. No, like, eventually it will kill you. You know, either it will kill you or it'll get to a point where you will lose control and your family's going to find out anyways. So, it's better that you take care of it while you can instead of when it's so far into destroying your life. Okay, my camera just turned itself off, and I'm not entirely certain why, so I'm just going to go ahead and cap off that topic. Okay, so where I left off was probably, I had to turn off my camera for a little while and plug it in because it was acting really weird. So, where I left off was in junior high, then we moved, or not junior high, my sophomore year of high school, we moved to a new school district, and it was probably the best thing that ever happened, though at the time I was really upset about it. You know, I'd been in the same school since kindergarten, so I was pretty upset about it, and like I said, even though I was the new girl, it ended up making me instantly popular because it was such a small school. So I decided at that point that I didn't want to be the fat girl anymore, and I started off healthy enough, like not you know, doing anything extreme or anything, and I was just kind of like, alright, you know, let's go back to exercising and stuff like that. And so it started off really, really gently with me kind of exercising, kind of paying attention to what I'm eating, and then I got really, really frustrated because I could not make myself stay on track, and so I just stopped eating altogether, which I have a tendency to do this kind of thing where, like, if I just stop, and you know, it goes with different things in my life. You know, it's all or nothing kind of, and so it's kind of like, all right, well, I'm not going to stop myself from eating things, so I'm just not going to eat. And it was never a point, I don't think, where I felt like I couldn't eat or I would feel bad. I would feel kind of disappointed if I had set out to not eat for such and such time and then I ate, but it was never like the type of thing where I felt like I couldn't control it. So I don't know if that's necessarily, it's definitely disordered eating. I mean, no one should ever just stop eating. It's not very good for you. I mean, there are people who do fasts and things like that, but you have to do a fast a certain way. You know, you don't just kind of stop eating one day. And, you know, I would not eat for like a week or two at a time, and then, somehow my parents either didn't notice or didn't care. We never really talked about it. But, you know, I would just stop eating for a week or two, and then I would lose weight. But the problem with something like that is you gain weight back as soon as you start eating again. So you have to ease back into it and slowly get your metabolism back up. I hate to say it, but I think it was almost to a point where my parents assumed I was doing it healthy, and they were kind of, you know, glad that I was trying to lose weight, and so they were giving me diet pills and things like that, and I was taking a lot of, like, Dexatrim. I remember I took a lot of Dexatrim. I've done so many things that I'm sure have destroyed my heart. But I was taking a lot of Dexatrim, and I was not eating for like 2 weeks at a time, and I was using the Dexatrim to keep my metabolism up since I wasn't eating. Now that I talk about this, it does sound like an eating disorder, but I digress. I don't know. I mean, I eventually got over it, but the lowest weight I ever got down to was like 110, 120 pounds. You know, it kind of stayed in between there because, you know, whenever I would start eating again, it would kind of go back up a little bit, and then I would stop eating again. And then I kind of got over it, and one day I was kind of like, alright, I need to start eating again. Like, this is starting to become a problem. People are starting to notice that I'm not eating. It's starting to become an issue where people are kind of like, hey, what the hell is wrong with you? Why aren't you eating? We haven't seen you eat in a while. And so I started eating again, kind of normally. Like at first it was just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to try to eat, you know, a little bit here and there. And then finally I started eating normal again, and I slowly put weight back on over a couple of years. I was in like a 3-year relationship, and that's just something that typically happens in relationships anyways, but I kind of gained some weight back from that. I gained back probably 20 pounds of what I had lost. And so I came back to like the high weight of like 140-ish, which I'm not tall. So I know for some people like 140 is a pretty good weight, but I'm only like 5'2", 5'3", somewhere in between the two. And so like for me, if I gain 5 pounds, like I can go up an entire dress size. Like it's really noticeable. So I've gotten to a point where I'm heavier than I'm comfortable being, but it's not because I feel fat anymore. It's because I don't feel healthy. I don't feel good about how clothes fit me. I don't feel good about, you know, my ability to run up and down stairs. I don't feel healthy overall, and that's the reason why I'm back to wanting to lose weight again and get back to maybe 120 pounds, which is, for my height, a pretty moderate weight. 140 is considered healthy for my weight, but it's like right at the high end of the BMI chart, and I don't feel healthy at this weight. And I've gotten over like worrying about numbers so much as knowing how I feel at a certain weight. And I felt really, really good at 120. You know, I had a lot of energy. I was, you know, I fit into things a lot better. I felt like, you know, I could eat a sweet food now and then, and it wouldn't like completely destroy how I felt, you know, because I was eating better overall. I was drinking a lot of water. And at that point, I wasn't taking any diet pills anymore. Once I got past a certain weight, diet pills started making me feel sick all the time, so I stopped taking those. And like I said, I slowly put the weight back on, and now I'm back where I am now. And I've lost maybe 5-10 pounds since I started losing weight, and it's kind of been on and off again. Like during the holiday season, it's always bad for everybody. I did not gain any weight over the holidays, but I also don't think I lost any weight. So I'm sitting now at like 132, 133-ish, and I want to get back down to 120, and I would like to do it sooner than later. I haven't set any definite goals. I need to sit down and actually look at a calendar and decide these things. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna, you know, figure all that out and have it ready next week, because I think next week is when we're actually, you know, we're gonna be kicking off the weight loss resolution 2011. I can't say that. Mimi, you gotta like make a shorter version of that or something, girl, because I'm gonna struggle through that the whole time. But yeah, and I think that's gonna be one of those kind of things. Well, I'll just let Mimi talk about it, because like I said, I'm not 100% on all the details, and I would much rather her explain it, since, you know, it's something that she feels very dear in her heart. So that is where I am now. That is where I want to be. And if you ladies would love to, you know, start this kind of challenge with us, what we're going to ask you guys to do is, you know, just pick one of our videos this week, and video response below kind of your weight backstory and, you know, what you want from 2011. It doesn't have to be about weight loss. Being healthy is way more important than any number on any scale. If you don't feel healthy, you know, if you wake up in the morning and you dread having to get out of bed and, you know, go do what you have to do, and like that's not a healthy feeling. You should never wake up in the morning and be like, man, I don't want to do anything. So, you know, there's a lot more there, you know, like maybe you need to kick a caffeine addiction, you know, maybe there's something like that you need to do this year. You know, weight loss, and it's kind of just the overall health for 2011. So whatever you guys feel like you need to do this year, just, you know, video response below. Tell me about, you know, your backstory of whatever you feel like is your issue you need to address in 2011, what you want from this year, and, you know, like I said, pick one of us girls and just video response it below. And I am stuck. Alright, you guys, so that is my backstory. That's what I want out of 2011. You know, I want to get in better shape. I want to make sure I'm drinking a lot of water. I want to pay a lot more attention to what I'm eating, making sure I'm taking my vitamins every day. And actually, let me grab those and I'll talk about what vitamins I take. Okay, so I'm just going to do this really, really quick because I'm almost out of time on my camera. But the vitamins I take are hair, skin, and nail vitamins. These just happen to be vegan, all vegetable sources and everything. So these are great. And I also take an iron pill plus vitamin C because I've always had low iron. And so, you know, that's something that is only going to get worse with being vegan. I don't want to get into all that. But everyone should take a multivitamin. It helps you a lot. And just try to find something fun to do. Like, I probably look all gross now because I went and played Connect. When you're sick, the best thing you can do is stay active, drink a lot of water, and stay on top of your vitamins, like I've been trying to do. That way my body will the better. Alright, you guys, we will see you guys next week. I'll probably elaborate on some of these things in the down bar because I feel like I forgot something, but I'm almost out of memory. Alright, bye.